former chairman and CEO of J.Crew, the Merchant Prince. It is great to see you and great to have you back, Mickey. I know the last time we saw you, we had some technical glitches. We were just talking about some of these numbers, and you are seeing a lot more spending. And it's true, there's a lot more spending, but there's also a lot of carnage along the way. How do you see it right now in terms of the way the industry is set up going forward?
Well, I think what's happened is industry was having lots of that prior to COVID. And I think COVID accelerated what was actually on the way happening. Too many stores, too much discounting, not enough interesting product, too many shopping malls. And, for those of us who might have been on the, I'm going to say the negative part of this, it was clear you didn't need all this choice, especially with an Amazon coming down the road or parts of Walmart or commodities coming down the road. So no surprise, over-leveraged and mostly too much and not enough great choice. So I still think we're there, and I think we'll remain there.
Well, let me ask you this, and you work with a number of direct-to-consumer businesses and other brands that are upstarts trying to make a name for themselves. A lot of companies have tried to stay off of the Amazon bandwagon, meaning they haven't wanted to sell through Amazon because they wanted to have that direct-to-consumer relationship. The question I'd ask you is, in this environment where Amazon has now become the shopping mall, where Walmart has become the shopping mall, do you get into business with them, or do you try to remain independent in this kind of environment?
Well, for me, again, it's personal. I try to remain independent. They're nothing but great marketplaces. And I wouldn't, and with total due respect, you're not going to get an interesting assortment. And that's all, again, personal to me. What's interesting, you're going to get the best commodity assortment there is, best deliveries, efficiency, and so on and so forth. So I don't think you get in with them. I never wanted to because I'm obsessed about controlling distribution and price. And if you look at the amount of goods in America sold on discount, it's beyond anything that would be acceptable if you really run your business. I never wanted to wake up in the morning dependent upon a brand. And it's been 40 years for me where I didn't have to wake up saying, who is selling that and what price is it? And it goes on today every single day. Look at the pricing. If you have 3 or 4 brands, like in our case, we have Alex Mill, new company, and we do sell wholesale to a degree, but we can't really control the prices of the wholesalers. So long term, that's not a way to win. I learned this working at Bloomingdale's. All of a sudden, Alexander's across the street had my goods in season. Where does that leave me as a retailer? It leaves me competing with a company that's across the street that has lower prices. So I wouldn't want to trust my merchandise to someone who's going to undersell me. And it has a slow movement towards, and has changed the whole nature of the beast.
Hey, Mickey, you are an amazing merchant, somebody who could always figure out what the consumer wanted, probably before the consumer ever knew that themselves. But I wonder if this new era, this new environment is going to reward the best merchandisers, or if we're in a situation where you have to be able to get delivery to the customer. You have to be able to handle that back end, the infrastructure, and it's just much more complex these days. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's a really good point. It's more complex. But for me, it's about the merchandise. And the complexity can be figured out. From an engineering point of view, there's many companies that help with complexity. But when I see all the startups I've been watching over the last few years, having lived in a startup environment when I left J.Crew 3 years ago, I was helping out. I was looking for companies that were there for a reason. And the reason isn't next day delivery. We can all do that if we're good at it. And there's people helping every day. The reason for me has always been an emotion, a look at a point of view, a brand that speaks to you, and a visionary merchant who kind of looks at the goods. They look at the food in a restaurant. They know how to communicate an emotion with a great point of view. And I see a great shortage in our industry. So that really good merchants are, in my opinion, few and far between.